Hello, YouTube members. Good evening to you all. How are you all doing? I hope you all are doing well. Welcome to another video show of the Enlightenment and Higher Consciousness, where I offer a different perspective on various issues. I am not claiming to be an expert in any of these issues, subjects, and you can take the information for what it's worth. Today's subject is my favorite is conspiracy theories. I usually spend 20-30 minutes on doing a video, but I decided to do something a little different. I try not to read so much, being that I know this subject pretty well. I'm going to not read so much, or I'll read briefly. First, we're going to talk about what is a conspiracy theory, and that I'll probably read off Wikipedia, at most one paragraph. And then I will discuss the various conspiracy theories that exist, and then I'm going to offer my opinion about them. So let's start off with the conspiracy theory. A conspiracy theory is an explanation for an event or situation that invokes a conspiracy by sinister and powerful groups, often political in motivation, when other explanations are more probable, which I don't agree with, because some of them could be probable. The term has a negative connotation, implying that the appeal to a conspiracy is based on prejudice or insufficient evidence. A conspiracy, again, not necessarily true, but I will explain that later. Sometimes there's sufficient evidence, but it's just that nobody wants to agree with it. A conspiracy theory is not the same as a conspiracy. Instead, it refers to a hypothesized conspiracy with specific characteristics, such as an opposition to the mainstream consensus among those people, such as scientists and historians who are qualified to evaluate its accuracy. That's not always the case. Again, I don't want to read anymore. There are many different types of conspiracies. It has been around throughout human history. One of the greatest, most common conspiracy theories is banking families. The Rothschilds, the Schroders, the Warburgs, and the Vanderbilts, how they manipulate our economy and have manipulated the course of history, manipulated politics, how they can control society. As a matter of fact, one famous man once said, I think it was Nathan Rothschild, he said, "Give me a nation's money supply, and I don't care who makes the laws." So right there, he is literally admitting that they attempt and successfully able to implement their conspiratorial objectives. There are other conspiracies, that can be proven, like 9/11. There are conspiratorial groups, other conspiracies, Benedict Arnold, the Lincoln assassination in 1865. The John F. Kennedy assassination in 1963. Some say that Lee Harvey Oswald was the assassin. Some people claiming he wasn't even there, and that the real killer was somebody else. Could have been his driver or some other shooter, and it was conducted or conspired by powerful groups. Some cases, international bankers, because he was doing things that were going against the interests of the international bankers, and he was also going to expose the alien cover-up. That's a matter of interpretation. You'll have to do the research on that. Other conspiracies, 9/11. As far as organizations, there are many. Freemasons have been accused of being conspiratorial. They have been known to conduct conspiracies against society. Many of our founding fathers in the United States and the founding of our nation, 32 of them were Freemasons. And you see a lot of symbolism in the White House and in the Capitol, a lot of occult symbolism. Symbolism usually is meant to display a certain idea, but in reality has a deeper meaning, an esoteric meaning. As far as my opinion, now I'm going to go into my opinion. It is absurd to think that every conspiracy theory is correct. But at the same time, it is equally absurd to think that every conspiracy theory is not correct. That it shouldn't be taken in consideration that a certain group of people, either an powerful individual or a group, conducts actions that are not always in the interest of society, and they're in the interest of a small elite. And over the years, I've discovered that we've accepted the American people, the citizens of the United States, and around the world, and every citizen of every nation around the world, have accepted too many lies and deceits, and they seem to think that their politicians are in control when they're not. Our politicians, our society is like a pyramid in which the few on the bottom are controlled. The many on the bottom of the pyramid are controlled by a few on the top of the pyramid. Politicians serve the same master. Our political system is like is actually one party masquerading as two. And our politicians are not elected, they are selected by bloodline. And I've come to notice this after much research, after many years, that what we have is the illusion of freedom and illusion of political choice. You're basically serving the same master. Politicians serve the same master. So again, our society is like a pyramid in which the many in the bottom of the pyramid are controlled by a few on top. Politicians serve the same master. Our political system is one party masquerading as two. And our politicians are not elected, they are selected by bloodline, selected by favoritism, or disguised as two. But in reality, they're all serving the same master, same elite groups like the Council on Foreign Relations and the banking families. Our economic system is controlled by powerful central banks who control the printing of American dollars, and anyone that can control the flow of money controls the economic condition. It is the greatest form of social economic control in the history of human history. The greatest form of economic control in human history. Social economic control is the greatest form of social economic manipulation in human history. And I think people need to, if you're not willing to take in consideration another explanation, you're already under mind control. At what point do you stop, at one point do you consider another explanation? At what point does it stop? At what point that it stops being a coincidence and you consider another explanation? At this point, I think maybe we should start considering thinking outside the box and considering another explanation. Because I think that there might be more to this. Nothing is as it seems, and there seems to be more to this. And again, I am proud to be an American, but sometimes I have to acknowledge when when my country is not operating the way it's supposed to be operating. When people start to do the research, they begin to realize that society doesn't operate the way you think it does, or the way they were taught the way it does. Because when you begin to do the research, unfortunately, people will accept and comply without investigation what they have been told. And that seems to be the case. People are not looking for the truth. They're just accepting the propaganda, because, people in power will propagandize a misconception, and people, because with the intention of getting people to submit to that misconception, so that way they will accept any kind of implementation their leaders will provide, or whatever their agenda is. People will go along with it because they have already accepted the misconception or the lie. It's just fascinating how easily it is to manipulate a society and put its population under mind control. Somebody should write a book on it. Again, I'm going to make this short. You can take the information for what it's worth. I am not an expert. I am not claiming to be an expert of any of these subtopics that I discuss on my YouTube channel, but I offer a different perspective. You can take the information for what it's worth. Again, I want to wish all my YouTube members good night, good luck, and may God bless you all.